In recent months, something interesting has been happening between the US and China.
Yeah, the trade war's gotten pretty spicy, and so a lot of apps like Temu are getting in headlines for the news.
Yeah, exactly. Apps like DHgate, Taobao, and of course Temu leading the way, but there is a thing. Temu didn't just pop out of nowhere. It's kind of crap up on everyone, and suddenly, boom, it's everywhere.
Yeah, that's really true. One minute nobody knew about it, and now everyone knows what it is, even if a lot of Americans haven't quite jumped onto the bandwagon yet.
So, how did a little-known Chinese shopping app go from barely anything to the second largest shopping platform in the world? Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Phil.
I'm Bella, and we are When East Meets West. Please like and subscribe.
So Bella, do you still remember when last time I saw you using Temu? I was shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know why?
Why?
Because the parent company of Temu, Pinduoduo, the story of it is wild. Yeah, once you hear this, you'll probably be shocked too.
Oh, really? I'm really interested to hear more about it.
It's okay. I'll fix it in post-production.
Okay.
Back in 2014, e-commerce in China was pretty much owned by Alibaba. Jack Ma was at its peak. You could buy literally anything on his application, Taobao, even a house.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's how dominant Taobao was. So when Pinduoduo launched in 2015, people thought they were insane for entering the market. Competing with giant companies like Taobao seemed like suicide.
Yeah, that would be like someone trying to compete with Amazon out of nowhere.
Amazon, Apple, Google.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
So how did they survive? How did they grow to the point where they are now?
So they did something brilliant. Instead of chasing urban middle-class shoppers like Alibaba did, they focus on China's forgotten markets, third-tier cities, small towns, and rural areas. Places where people didn't care about brand names, they just wanted stuff that was cheap and usable.
I see. So they completely threw out competing with the big name brands, and they'll just say, they basically became the dollar store of the internet.
Dollar Tree.
Yeah, like the Dollar Tree of the internet. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Exactly. Well, Alibaba aimed for higher-end customers. Over half of China's population still use old phones and old TVs. Pinduoduo saw a market no one else wanted and turned it into gold.
Wow.
Within a year, their user base exploded. By 2016, they had over 100 million users. By 2017, 300 million. They launched Temu globally.
Wow. Now it's everywhere.
Yeah, so in just 2 years, Temu got 467 million users. That's more than the population of the United States.
Wow.
And now Pinduoduo is the second largest e-commerce platform by user, just behind Amazon.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah, it is. But you know how they did it, right?
By selling stuff cheap?
Exactly. In the beginning, their focus was just to growth. Regulations were relaxed and product quality questionable. If you bought things from Temu, you probably know kinds of products they sell, right? A friend bought a PS5 on Temu at a low price.
No!
You might be upset, but then also you'd kind of just think, well, what was I expecting anyways? Who can buy a PS3 for $3?
Yeah, exactly. And this one, can you see this one?
Oh my gosh, it's just a tiny little tree. That's so funny. But like the thing is like we hear stories like, oh, well, you know how much it costs Apple to make an iPhone? It costs them $10 and then they sell it to us for like $1,000, right?
Yeah.
So you see it and it's like directly from China. You think, well, maybe
it is what it cost.
Maybe it's real.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You thought you bought a pen, but you actually got a picture of a pen.
Yes. I read a story of someone who thought they bought a bed. They bought a picture of a bed.
Okay.
And that must have been disappointing. That's funny. It does look a little fake.
You don't remember, don't buy anything emergency on Temu.
Yeah, no, you can't. It probably won't arrive in time anyways. My sister bought a little, she thought it was a plant stand, but when it came, it was this big.
This little thing?
Yeah. And she's like, what? I can't put a plant on here. It was pretty though.
Yeah.
It was pretty. It was like nice carved wood.
But it's just not as described.
It was just not as large as it was described.
This one.
What is that?
You bought a Cybertruck from Temu.
That one has to be a joke though.
And a high possibility it is a joke.
Yes.
But even if it was real, you can...
But it gets the point across.
Yeah. All right, so there are a lot of our memes, but to those of us who've seen it grow, this kind of thing does not come as a surprise. In fact, it was even more exaggerated in China. When Pinduoduo first started, the platform got so much attention that it was humorously referred to as the light of humanity. That was how people call Pinduoduo by netizens. For example, there were these kinds of situations.
My mom bought it on PDD.
Pinduoduo?
She thought it was 20 bags of yogurt.
Yeah, that's the package of that brand.
Oh, it's a package. Okay.
Yeah. She thought it's 20 bags of yogurt, but it actually got a 20 bag of the package.
20 bags of the package. That's funny.
Yeah. And this one.
The face mask. It's very cute.
It is.
Very cute little mask.
But you cannot use it to cover your face.
Yeah, no.
And Philips Shiver, world well-known brand, but they actually sell it on Pinduoduo as another name, Philo Paste, something like that. In Pinduoduo, you can actually buy SK2 with only $2.
I would be worried if that was actually safe to put on my skin.
That's most people's worry. And on Pinduoduo, you can actually buy a pair of Air Jordan sneakers with only $2 or $3. So that's the hilarious meme in China poking fun at Pinduoduo's super low price. A couple standing together, and the girl asks, "Honey, can I stand on your Air Jordan sneaker to kiss you?" The guy goes, without missing a beat, replies, "Sure, but can I use your SK2 to clean my shoes?" And the girl's like, "The one that costs $1, go ahead." And the boys goes like, "The one costs $2, sure." And they both laugh, hugging each other.
That's funny.
Yeah. So Pinduoduo has become a joke because of it. No wonder so many people in China love it. Whether it's a couple or anyone, it's like you're getting the best deals while also getting a good laugh out of it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a light of humanity kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Pinduoduo has these unique traits, and Temu has pretty much inherited all of them. Though it's not exaggerated in the beginning. You've bought stuff on Temu too, right?
Yeah, I bought a few things.
You know how many people ended up with products that look nothing like what they expected.
Yeah, I've seen that. Although I think most of the things I've gotten on Temu were like, I was like, oh yeah. There have been a few things that I was like, oh, that's just such bad quality. It's not even worth. Not even worth
a penny.
Using, you know. But you know, you kind of expect that.
Yeah, even I bought something wrong from it. See, this is the picture they thought they would get, but it turns out they actually got this one.
It's a little small.
And this one too. But it turned out to be like this. So this is what I bought.
I thought you bought the whole mall.
So during that time, Pinduoduo's rise was driven by complaints, but there was also a group of people who jokingly said, "I'm already on Pinduoduo, so why would I care about quality?" Pinduoduo had a policy like, if it's fake, we'll compensate you tenfold. And then they send you 11 fake products. Well, it's not that true, but you get it. These complaints were exaggerated, but a large part of Pinduoduo's user base at that time were consumers from China's smaller cities and towns who were not very tech-savvy and often just wanted the cheapest deals. This group of consumers did not care too much about brand names or product quality. this was the reason for Pinduoduo's fast growth.
So people just cared more about the low prices rather than quality.
Not always, especially in smaller towns, people were used to stretching every penny. Pinduoduo wasn't just a shopping app. It gave them access to stuff they couldn't afford otherwise. It may not have been premium, but it worked. That's why some people said this isn't consumption downgrading. This is an upgrade for us. Some people from rural areas order a TV, but it's so fake that youngsters will never buy it.
Like it's a cheap one, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, and they don't need high quality TV with a unaffordable price like that. So
while the cities are mocking Pinduoduo,
exactly,
the people in the countryside were like, "Wow, this is awesome! We have access to things we didn't have access to before."
Exactly. Here's where it gets even trickier. Pinduoduo didn't just sell cheap stuff. It turned shopping into a game. Group buys, spin the wheel, cashbacks, fake countdown timers. You know that?
I've definitely seen that. But at the beginning, they were real.
In the beginning, it was real, yeah.
But then after the first few times, they weren't real anymore.
Yeah, it's still real, but it costs a lot of networking thing to...
Yeah, I sent my sister, I think, the same invitation like 10 times, and it never went up. The little percentages.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's unreachable.
Unreachable. I was like, these are unreachable. Whatever. Yeah. The prices are cheap anyway.
Yeah, I don't need this. I don't need cheaper anymore.
They like try to entrap you by like trying to give you stuff that you don't even want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, look, we'll give you all these things. And like, well, I didn't even want any of those things, but now I feel like pressured to buy them, even though I don't want them.
Yeah, that's true. Some people invited hundreds of friends just to get the final 0.0001%. And Pinduoduo turned social pressure into a growth engine. People spammed their contacts, joined chat groups, sent links to strangers just to achieve a small deal.
Kind of smart, but also a little bit manipulative. Yeah.
That's the thing. Pinduoduo's success raises big questions. What happened when growth matters more than trust? When affordability trumps quality? When shopping becomes a game of dopamine instead of value?
Yeah, now it's not just in China, it's global. So are the products always like that?
Well, not really. It's much more standardized now. You can find good quality, premium product, affordable, genuine products on the platform. A little bit cheaper than other platforms. Of course, there are still very cheap items.
Yeah, and I think
available too. Yeah,
part of the trick is probably how do you tell the difference between which ones are real, which ones are.
You have to distinguish them.
You have to do your research. Yeah. So you have to think twice before you.
Buy it.
Buy.